I'm Matea Babcock, and this is a session in the life of a Mustang. I have a client who recently acquired a Mustang. She's had about, this Mustang in particular has had about 2 weeks of training and then handling from her owner. So she's, you can rub her all over, but she's still very flighty, very spooky. And one of the main things that is an issue right now is she's still not reliably catchable. So, you see me, I'm working on rubbing her neck a lot, and I want to practice everything that I would need to have installed to catch her when she's actually caught and I can do this stuff. So one thing that I like to do after they're comfortable with me rubbing them on the neck, on over their mane, down their throat latch, is I like to be able to bear hug them a little bit. And you see I'm just waiting for her to tip her head towards me, and then I release. And I actually taught one of my horses that I got that was pretty wild to do this from a distance. Like, he was uncatchable, and I taught him to do this at liberty from a distance. I would just put my hands up, and as soon as he looked at me or even slightly turned his head towards me, I would take my hands away. And I got to where I could use this to catch him. So I'm working on this with her, because that's one of the scariest parts for them, is being able to having somebody reach around their neck to grab the top of that halter. And I prefer to catch their neck first. That way they can't run away as easily, and versus putting it just over their nose. And there I felt like she was getting a little bracy, a little stuck. So anytime I feel that, I can disengage the hindquarters and put her head down. That can be a nice little reset if you feel like they're just frozen and bracing against you. Another little thing to have installed is also that head down. That's really important. But I'm just spending a lot of time rubbing on her, getting her comfortable with me alongside of her. The other thing I might probably work on later is, getting her comfortable with approaching. That's another aspect that is hard for rescues or, in this case, a Mustang to get used to. But I'm going to reach around here, and she's wearing a leather halter, and I don't like to work in those. The thinner natural halters, rope halters, are a lot better at getting your horse to give to pressure, and they give a better release, so that your horse can't lean against that pressure with any comfort. So I'm just slipping this on under her leather halter, and I'm gonna switch out here. And this is a great little tip if you have a horse that's hard to handle and, you need to switch out to something a little more effective. And see how there she braced up, and I just asked her to turn her head. She's getting distracted about something, but I'm going to keep working. And I try to get the halter on as quickly as I can. That way there's less opportunity for things to go wrong. And then I'm going to use this opportunity to kind of get her comfortable, rub her around her ears, because I'm going to slip that halter down and off. And I don't want her to be reactive to that. So now I'm ready to continue in on my session. But see how slow I go. I'm very soft. I try to be predictable with my movements. And I try to really think about where her mind is at mentally in the moment. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing here in this session is some version of getting her comfortable with the sticks, the ropes, me. I need her really good with this stuff. So you'll see me do a lot of backing away. If you want a horse confident with something, or you're trying to build their confidence with it, you'll want to back away and take it away from them. That will build curiosity. And we've done this particular exercise in the last couple sessions. So she's gotten a little bit better with it. But I'll start out soft, and then I can get firmer and firmer with my stick as I see fit, and then go softer, depending on what my horse can tolerate. And then every once in a while I'll stop, give her a little break. And if you find that your horse is crowding you at any point as you're backing up, then what you want to do is make sure that you back them out of your space. You always want to keep that boundary of, it is not okay for you to crowd me. And here I've started in on a little 3-circle game. And as you can see, she's very bracy. Her head went up. She's throwing her head a little bit. And I try not to react to what she's doing. I try to just respond. I try to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't want to give her a release for being bracy or spooky. I want to release when she's soft. And how I like to end my 3-circle game is I'll rub her on the shoulder till she stops and end with her head tipped in, asking for that lateral flexion. Where I end an exercise is a big part of what my horse remembers. So I want to end them in a position that's going to set them up for relaxation. But I'm just getting in time with that inside hind leg. And I'm feeling in my hand, like, is she bracing? Is she feeling soft? Another big thing to look at with your horse is that rhythm. You want them to go to be nice and rhythmic. If it's going faster and then slower and then faster and then slower, that's a sign that there's brace to work through there. And there, I felt like she did a little spook, so I just yielded her hindquarters around, put her head down. There are no free spooks in my arena. What I allow, my horse thinks is right. So I want to be very aware of what I'm instilling in my horse. Half of horse training is teaching your horse what you want them to do. The other half is trying to not train them to do what you don't want them to do. So I don't want brace. I'm going to try to make that uncomfortable or not release on it. So a lot of horsemanship is setting it up and waiting. I know this pattern is going to help soften her. So it's just a matter of sticking with it until I feel like she's more comfortable. And there she kind of spun out on me. I felt like she was misunderstanding what I was asking for, so I disengaged. And if my horse will allow it, I try to give them a lot of dwell time, assuming they can stand there and be relaxed and not be watchy or worried about stuff. And there she got pretty worried about something. And so I'm just holding my position, trying to get her back forward. I accidentally spooked her again, coming through there. And so I'm just bringing her forward, rubbing her. And I sent her and disengaged her. And she's pretty spooky right now. So I don't feel comfortable having her real close to me. So I'm just sending her, disengaging her, trying to get her mind back while keeping her feet moving. It's very easy to make a mistake with a horse like this because they just have no understanding and no confidence and trust built in the human. So one little thing that you do wrong can set them off or cause them to be fearful of you. So there we go. Yielded the hip around. And reset. And I'm trying to do this a little bit at a trot too, because she's still very new to all this, so she has a tendency to pull away when she gets scared. Obviously the round pen walls can help me a little bit here, but I need to teach her that pattern of you trot off, you come back to me when you feel pressure on the line. And that's teaching her what that pressure means, because this pressure is all very new to her. And horse instinct tells her that pressure, means you're about to die. Mountain lions grabbed a hold of you, you need to fight or flee. And so when we're domesticating a horse, we really have to instill in them how to yield to pressure. And every horse needs this. It's just so much more apparent with a horse like this that hasn't had as much handling. So I felt like I had finally gotten her kind of back down to earth. So I brought her back in and gave her a rub. And here I'm just pulling her right back into me, teaching her what to do with that pressure. Pressure comes on your halter, you come in and rest by me. Because I want to be seen as relief right now as much as possible. But I still want her to respect me, so there's a balance there. I need her to respect my space, but know that I'm relief. My goal is to not be seen as something that's scary. So I switched it up. I went back to doing a little friendly type stuff, and I'm just backing up and swinging the stick up and over her back. And I'm watching for how comfortable she is. Does she stop every time I swing that stick up and over, or can she walk a normal pace? And you can see her head is up, her ears are back. That's a sign that she's worried, but she's tolerating it. And my goal when I'm working with these horses, first thing I need them to be able to tolerate it, and then I want them to be able to accept it and then be confident with it. So there are stages to building your horse's confidence. And this is where I made a huge rookie mistake. If you want to see the rest of this session, click on to part 2. Thanks for watching.